Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm KM Savage. Today we'll be renovating a starter home, Daisy Hovel. This build was inspired by a new movie called The Pope's Exorcism. I thought I would try to make my own haunted house. So a little about this house. We are renovating Daisy Hovel like I mentioned earlier. The new renovation has 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. It can fit 8 Sims, even though I doubt it would be comfortably because of all the clutter. There is a good-sized living room, a large laundry room, and a small kitchen and dining area. There is also a small entryway when you first come into the house. One downfall with this house is the backyard is quite small. Other than that, I think it's a cozy little nightmare of a house. So with this house, I decided to go with the theme of an old rundown house. As you can see, I was trying to decide what door to use, if I should go with the werewolf door or a newer version. I ended up deciding to go with a newer door because I figured that maybe they started renovating and they picked a new door for their house, and I thought maybe it was on the newer side. As you can see, I'm trying to pick out windows right now, and I'm having a hard time because I can't seem to find anything in the catalog. And I end up deciding to go with I think it's cottage living. I think either that or it's growing together pack. But I go with the windows with the shutters that they're at the bottom near the door. So I do replace all the windows a couple times until I ultimately decide to go with those windows. But the idea with this house was this family just moved into town. They were trying to find their dream home, and they found this house and they thought it was perfect, and they decide to move in, that they're going to renovate it. They put all their money into this house. It's basically like any other horror movie that you see, but they find out that it's haunted, and so they have to decide if they're going to befriend the ghosts or if they're going to get rid of them completely. So if you use this house, it's up to you what you want to do. If you want a haunted house, or I also made the challenge, it's gremlins and haunted house, and then there was a third one, but I can't think of it. So here we are with the windows still. I'm still trying to decide if I want the newer door or not. I end up going with the newer door, but it was hard for me to pick. So now I'm working on the front yard. I'm trying to do some landscaping. I end up deciding to go with this bush to be a border between the yard and the flower beds, and I thought it turned out pretty nice. The flowers that I chose to use were this dead rose bush and some creeping vines to make it look overgrown. I went with a few living plants. Actually, it was more living plants than dead. I wish I would have gone with the dead plants to make it look better, but for some reason I didn't think about that. So here I'm putting a dead tree in the front yard with some grass and more creeping vines. Now I'm adding a fence, and I end up taking part of the fence off to add a driveway here, like right here. And I like to picture that it's a old rundown truck that's just kind of stuck in the driveway and they have no way to get rid of it, and they're trying to sell it or they're trying to fix it up. And so here I'm adding a bird bath and a bird feeder. I thought maybe they might have put some of their items outside. Now I'm adding ivy and some vines along the house. I end up taking out one of the windows here soon, because on the inside when I start decorating it, I think the closet that I put in, it takes over the window, so I just got rid of that window. Now I'm adding holes and chips and cracks into the walls on the outside to make it look run down. I think it looked pretty good, at least the outside did towards the end. I liked all the mess and the chips and the walls falling apart, and I thought it added character to the build. Here we go with the removing the window. I'm adding ivy, and I'm trying to figure out how I want the entryway to look, how big it needs to be. So with this build, I used for the packs Growing Together, Bathroom Clutter, Everyday Clutter, Werewolves, Cottage Living, and Paranormal. Those were the main ones that I used. I'm sure I used a few other packs too, but the majority of what I was going for were in those 6 packs. So here I'm adding spider webs to the house, more holes, cracks, basically the same thing that you see outside. I'm trying to make it look as run down as possible. Fixing the windows and trying to maneuver everything around the windows and the doors. And here I'm trying to figure out how many windows I need, and I'm going to add a fireplace. And I'm building the chimney right now. Here I'm adding the chimney, and I'm trying to figure out what kind of bricks to use. The roof was giving me a really hard time. I accidentally forget to add part of the roof, and I didn't notice it until the end when I was done recording. I was going back through the footage and I saw that. I was like, oh no! I was like, I can't believe I forgot part of the roof. And then there was actually one of the bunk beds that I used. I spent over an hour trying to figure out why the sim wouldn't go onto the top bunk bed. So if you use this house, there is one bunk bed that you can't use. So if you figure out what is in the way, just delete it, because I could not figure out what was in the way to fix it. I was about ready to throw my computer by the time I was done. So now I'm working on the living room. I wanted to make it look a little bit better than the rest of the house. I add a whole bunch of clutter. I'm sizing down the coffee table right now and adding a retro TV. And I'm trying to find the end table. I think I used the one that you make with the woodworking. And here I'm picking the werewolf curtains. And I changed the fireplace to this black one. Now I'm adding some boxes and some clutter onto the coffee table. I figured with this build they would still have boxes lying around, and that was one of the main things I wanted to portray, was they were still trying to move in. They were trying to get everything uncluttered. They were trying to do all this stuff to make their house look better. But with the haunting, they kind of had to stop and put that all aside to deal with the ghosts. So here I'm just kind of moving clutter around. I added glasses, I added notepads and coffee mugs and school books, and here's some sunflowers in a vase. As you can see, I added some paint cans near the wall. I thought maybe that they would be repainting the living room and the rest of the house. I thought that if I added some rugs, I thought they would be overlapping, they'd be run down. Maybe some people before this family moved in, there were squatters that they left some of their stuff here, and they I don't know, they were trying to find a place to live, and this was the empty house that they chose. Here I'm trying to figure out what shelf to use. I end up deciding to go with this one that looks like it's made of boxes and it has books all over it. I thought it went with the room pretty nice. Here I'm adding some more clutter, books and little office supplies with pens and paper, and then I think that what I just added was board games over in the corner, and there's some school books and a jar of candy. I add some a key holder with some mail, and now I'm trying to figure out, for some reason I wanted to add an air conditioning unit, and I could not find the perfect place to put it, so I end up deciding not to use it. Here I'm picking out a table to go with the room, and I have a box of blankets and pillows next to it. Over against the wall is a suitcase with books on top of it near the bookcase. I end up adding I try adding a teddy bear, because I thought since there were kids in the house, they would have toys everywhere. They would have all their clothes, their school books, their school things. I thought that they would just like normal kids, they wouldn't pick up after themselves. And since the house was such a mess and there's so much clutter, I thought that they really wouldn't be motivated to pick up after themselves, that since the house was bad, they didn't care. So as you can see here, I'm adding a computer and some office supplies to the desk, and I put a little plastic bin with, I guess, mail or books in it next to the desk. Here I'm adding some photos, collages. I thought that since it was an old house, they would have old pictures and maybe some of the places that they went. So here I'm adding the plants from the werewolf pack. I thought that I would add a broken down truck frame, but then I decided it wouldn't look very good in the front yard, so I ended up taking it out. Here I'm adding some benches near the window, and I'm sizing down some chairs to make it look like there's pillows. And I don't know if the Sims will sit in the seats or not, because I forgot to test it out. That was my bad. So if they do, if you decide to use this build from my gallery, just delete the chairs. Here I'm adding some photos I thought and some boxes. Pretty much with the rest of the house, there's going to be boxes in every room. Now I'm going to add a mirror, which I end up changing into a grandfather clock. I thought the grandfather clock fit in better than the mirror. Now I'm adding a little corner shelf and an umbrella stand, and I'm getting ready to move on to the kitchen. I used the City Living cabinets and cupboards. I thought they would go well with the house because they're run down. They were the used ones. Now I'm adding a little island with some stools, and then I move on to adding the cupboards and adding clutter to the room. I add food and a bread box. I add a little container with the spoons and spatulas and cooking utensils, some plants, just basically regular kitchen stuff. And I ended up finding the fireplace accessories. I wasn't able to find that before, so I was all excited, so I added that near the fireplace. Now I stopped working on the kitchen and I moved back to working on the entryway. I'm trying to find some curtains to go with the room. I ended up deciding to go with these white and beige curtains. Now I'm going to add some shelves and then add more clutter and knickknacks to the shelves. I figured a lot of kids' items, like presents that they made at school or just crafts that they had done. I add picture frames and books and more boxes down on the benches. I also add a little fox wicker basket and a summertime basket for the beach. I think that's what it is. I can't recall exactly what it was used for or what the name of it was. I don't even remember what pack it was from, but here you can see I'm trying to add the cow plant object, but what happened was I downsized it, but the cow plant did not downsize, so it was sticking out of the little case. So I ended up deciding not to use it. Here I'm adding a sugar skull, and I thought I would have a blue one, but I decided to take it out because I thought it was too much. I add a decorative plate, and I don't think I went through and decorated the very top of the shelves. You guys are more than welcome to decorate those, but I just ended up moving on to another room. Now I'm trying to find something to go near the cat on the shelf, and I end up finding a little airplane, and I decided to use that. I thought maybe it would be one of the kids' toys or something they built, like an airplane replica or something. There's some baskets with blankets in it that I stacked. Now I'm looking for a plant to add to the room. I thought maybe if I made it bigger, it would be a little bit longer, but it ended up being too big, so I just took it out. I'm adding a rug. Now I'm looking for some pictures to put over the doorway. I thought the colorful pictures would go really good. I thought the collage of the pictures kind of brightened up the room. Now I'm going back to the kitchen to add more clutter and some more stuff on the walls. Here I add some herbs and some pots and pans. I think I take the pots and pans out. Here I'm adding a bottle of something to drink and some cups. I don't know what would be in the bottle. I don't know if it's like sparkling water or something like that. And then a teapot and some cookie jars and a knife block. I couldn't decide where I wanted the knife block, if I wanted it on the little shelf there or not. I tried to put the lemons on there, but for some reason it wouldn't stay. So I need to get there's a building mod that I've been watching people use, and I can't think of the name of it. I think this builder that I watch, I think her name is Jessica Pye. She's a really good builder for The Sims. I wish I could make my builds like that. But she uses this mod, and she can place stuff pretty much anywhere. And I need to get it. So I'm hoping I can get it before the next time I build something. As you can see, I added some spices. I'm working on the curtains right now. Now I'm moving on to the dining area. I finished up the kitchen. I'm adding a rundown rug, some old tables and chairs from the werewolf pack. I'm trying to decide if I want to go with I think it was Get Famous rug, and then I added the werewolf rug on top of it. Here I'm adding some green curtains. I thought they went pretty well. They made the room look kind of grungy. A corner shelf, and there's a little china cabinet, and then I add a paranormal, kind of like an occult china cabinet with skulls and stuff like that in it. Here I'm adding some candles on the wall, and I think that's it for this room. I think besides adding the chips and the cracks, I move on to the laundry room now. I decide to go with the newer door again. I'm adding the chips and the cracks and the spider webs and the holes in the wall and the water damage. Pretty much anything to make the room look run down. Here I'm adding just some stuff from the laundry pack. I couldn't decide. I ended up going with putting a shelf there where I took away the cabinets, or the counters, I mean. And I'm adding a little shelving unit to put baskets of clothes on, or whatever items you need for your laundry. I end up putting a sink there in the empty spot and adding some cleaning supplies and detergent to the washer or the dryer. I'm not sure which one that is. Out here I'm adding some clothes on the floor because I figured, well, here at my house, we just, if there's dirty clothes or towels or something, usually we just add it to the floor near the washer to be put into the washer for the next load. So I kind of got that idea from my house. Here I'm working on the curtains, and I end up going with the ones that I used in the kitchen. Now we're moving upstairs, and I'm getting ready to do the layout of the second floor, and I decided to go with a half wall around for the banister around the staircase. Here I'm adding 2 bedrooms, and I think I originally started out making that a bathroom, but I changed that into a 3rd bedroom and used this little area as a bathroom. Here I realized that I messed up with the roof, and so I'm trying to fix that. Then I turned this into the master bedroom, and then there's an ensuite next to the bedroom. So now I'm adding the doors and oh, here we go with I use when I add the gremlins and the haunted house and stuff. Maybe that's not the part that I start picking. I think I was just looking at it. I think later on is when I pick what challenges you have. Here I'm just adding the rundown paint and the walls or whatever. The lights I'm adding, they're the same as on the first floor. Now I'm working on the nursery for the infants. I add a crib and a changing table. I believe I used a rocking chair from the knitting pack. I add some toys at the bottom of the changing table there. Here I'm trying to find a rug to use for the room. Now I'm picking out yellow curtains. I thought this room would look cute with yellow. It could be either for a boy or a girl. I was going to go with that rainbow light in the corner, but I ended up changing my mind and using a dresser. Here I'm adding the dresser and the little wicker basket. I don't know if it's a bear or... I think this one's a bear. The other one downstairs is a fox. Now I'm adding the rocking chair, and there's a random box with the baby's things in it that need to be put away. I'm adding some clutter, some more baby things for the changing table. I end up adding some more boxes and some toys. I added a little purple octopus to the crib. I thought maybe the baby might like that. Here's the little... I don't even know what you would call this. It's not a playpen, but it's a play mat, I guess. Now I'm adding the holes in the wall, and I'm trying to add a little tree, but the hole in the wall was in the way, so I had to move that. Now I'm adding some art. I go with the 3 pictures of the birds, and then to me that looks like an eagle, that blue painting. I don't know what it is, but for some reason it looks like a little eagle to me. And now I finished the nursery, so now I'm moving on to the hallway where I add a seance table. I figured it's a haunted house. They're gonna have seances, try and contact the dead, deal with all that wonderful stuff that comes along with it. Now moving on to the teenage girl's room. I figured she might be the oldest, and she's kind of trying to cover up the holes in the wall with posters and pictures, and so her room is covered in posters, the walls are. And so now I'm trying to figure out what bedding to use. I thought I would go with the black and white moon and sun, but the I didn't like the black. I thought it was too dark for the room. I wanted her to have a colorful room, so I go with the other version of that print, and I go with the pink and yellow. And then with the dresser, I make it purple and blue, and I do the same with the desk and the end table. She gets her own computer, and I figured maybe she's starting to try and be a gamer, or she's a writer, or she does programming or something along those lines. I thought maybe she would just spend a lot of time in her room because she's trying to avoid dealing with the new place, or she's upset that they had to move, and so she's just trying to deal with things in her own way. Here I'm adding a mirror and some curtains. I couldn't decide what curtains I wanted because these ones that I picked out, they go through the dresser, and I didn't like that, but they went so well with the room, so I ended up just deciding to go with that. So here I started coming up with the idea maybe she's a cheerleader and she's also kind of geek on the side. I add here I'm looking for some more clutter. I think I'm going to go for shoes. I put those under the dresser. And next I think I'm looking for stuff for the desk. Now I'm adding some plants here and there and a little teddy bear. I thought maybe she would, since she's just a teenager, I was thinking maybe she was like 14 or 15 years old. Maybe she still had stuff from when she was a little girl, like a teddy bear or some toys that I'm adding to the bookshelf, some collectibles. Here I'm adding the posters to the wall and some holes to go along with the rest of the house. Like I said, she's wanting to cover all the holes in her room. She hates it, so she's using posters to cover her walls. I think I added, it was supposed to be like I think a Justin Bieber poster. I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly what the poster was called in the catalog, but here I'm adding some Strangerville posters, more holes in the wall, and I think I'm done with that room now. I'm moving on to the boys' room. Originally I was going to make this a girls and boys room, but I decided maybe that the oldest girl was the only girl in the family, and so there are 5 boys and just her. Here I'm adding the bunk beds. I'm trying to figure out if I want it to be a girls and boys room or just a boys room. I was going to have a room divider between the two. Originally what gave me the idea of having the boy and girls room was my sister and I, we used to share a room growing up, and I was into goth stuff, and so my room was black. My side of the room was black and red, and hers was pink. So we had it divided, and that's what kind of gave me the idea for this room. I end up adding a whole bunch of clutter and pictures, and I figured that these little boys would be into like the void critter little creatures. I couldn't find the void critter toy. I looked for that, and I just couldn't find it in the catalog. I didn't know what happened to it. I didn't know if I just wasn't seeing it or if they took it out or what, but here I'm adding a little octopus. I thought maybe that it was one of their stuffed animals. Now I'm adding some books and a little robot that they're putting together. I thought maybe one of them was into technology. Here's Yoda, or Grogu, whichever one you want to call the child. I was trying to decide where I wanted him. I thought he would be cute to add to the room, so I ended up putting him by the bed, which later on I end up, when I'm testing the build, I end up taking Yoda and that little blue creature that I placed out because I thought maybe that was the reason they couldn't get into the bed. Here I'm adding the void critter rugs, and I thought I would add a poster too. Then now I'm working on some blue curtains, and I am adding some clutter to the floor. I figured it's a boys' room, so they're going to be pretty messy. At least my brothers were when I was growing up. I added a little storage unit with some books and blocks in it. There's some more clothes. And I finished that room, so now I'm moving on to the master bedroom. I believe I took out the footage of decorating the bathrooms. I thought it was just bathrooms. You guys know what the bathrooms look like, so it wouldn't be a big deal to take out the footage. You could see the pictures, the after photos in the video or when you play. So here I'm trying to decide what bedding to use. I was going to use black, but it just didn't seem to fit the room, so I ended up going with yellow, so it kind of matches the nursery. Now I'm switching around the chair and the plants. I'm making the nightstands match the dresser. I add some little lights with plants in them. I guess they're lanterns. I don't even know what you would call those. Now I'm trying to figure out what curtains to use. I think I go with these beige and green ones. Now I'm adding some clutter. Just some like nail polish and perfume bottles. And here's a plant from that, I think it's the movie night pack. There I'm adding something to the boys' room that I found. Here's a little clothes rack to put their clothes on. Now I'm adding the holes in the wall to go with the rest of the house. Some paint chips, water damage there. Now I'm moving on to the backyard, and I believe we will be wrapping up the build. As you can see, the backyard is pretty small, but I worked with what I had. So I added a grill, and I add some planters, and a little tree with the birds. I thought that would be cute to have, and some clothes hangers, and that's the end of the build. Thank you for watching. Here are the before and after photos. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment if you have any tips and tricks for me. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching the video and taking your time to view it. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye!